Sorry. Hi. Welcome to the Ashley and Gus show, or the Gus and Ashley show.
And
What are we? We're event people.
we're doing behind the scenes tonight.
Behind the scenes. Oh my gosh.
Last week,
Whew.
we were in Fort Lauderdale.
We were.
And
It was
epic.
really. So
tonight we're going to talk about fun in Fort Lauderdale.
Fun in Fort Lauderdale and work in Fort Lauderdale.
And behind the scenes and what really takes place. And even though, somebody said to me during the wow, everything went so smooth.
Good.
That's the goal.
Yes, the goal is that they say that.
They say that.
We'd like to say it too, but we know it doesn't, and that's fine.
I'm not going to say it never goes smoothly. It's
there's always something.
It's work. It's a job. It happens.
Right.
And something always pops up. You just don't know what it's going to be. So
exactly. And just making sure things are rolling along is work. It's like a whole nother set of attention that you have to make sure everything's rolling along.
So let's give some backstory here. In the scheme of things, we have a couple different companies. This company last week was for the utility industry, so it was utilityevents.com. We ran events for. We do about 12 in-person events a year on that. We do another 24 minimally events and virtually on that company.
Yes, we do.
Per year.
It is our main.
It's our main company.
It's our main company.
So the week before the events, we were in Fort Lauderdale from May 4th through the 12th.
Yes.
Through Mother's Day. So we're there from the day before Cinco de Mayo until the day after.
A little over a week.
So the way it works for us is we usually get an early morning Saturday flight out for a conference that starts on Monday morning. Do that.
I was going to say we've cut it close in the past where
if there's a chance of a flight,
if a flight delay or something gets messy, or we get on site and we realize we have to go out and either get some more equipment or buy some supplies. It gives us enough of a cushion to in case something
But
happens,
then the reality is so the week before the event, we're doing all the last minute logistics that we need to bring. There's certain things like we just can't buy, like name badges that are cut. We use custom made name badges.
So we have to make sure we pack all of these things where we make them, we print them on site. So we have to bring our little printer with us. We have to make sure we actually bring the roll.
The badge printer and all that stuff. So we're packing all this stuff. I'm packing all this stuff. We got an early flight out Friday, Saturday morning. So basically, everything has to be event-wise in our travel bags. Clothing is actually not a big deal because if we were to forget clothing, we can always go out and buy stuff.
It's actually pretty easy to replace. It's all of the other stuff. It's the equipment. It's those custom badges. It's the lanyards. It's the
it's all that stuff. So our real work schedule begins on Sunday. So it's Sunday, Cinco de Mayo, and we go to the event space, and our awesome video AV team is down there setting up.
Yep.
So
we jump in and start setting up too. So you started working with the AV team. I started working with our project manager on making sure all of the badges were ready for at least the conference that was happening the next day.
Yeah, so we start integrating. You're getting the badges done. You're getting the list with Liz. You're getting all that stuff together. I'm integrating our cameras and computers and iPads and all that other stuff. We're integrating all that stuff into the boards. It's like we do our events hybrid these days, virtual. So it's virtual and in person, and it's like running a live TV studio where we're doing live interviews out.
Well, what's interesting to me about it too. So we have how many laptops did you guys use?
3. We could have used one more.
Right. So and you're running.
You're using one. Yes. And Liz is using one. So we actually have 5 laptops running.
Right. So, but on the board, so on the sort of central board, there's this, bunch of laptops lined up and different, they're sort of plugged in. It's kind of like back in the day when you had to figure out how to make sure the cable went through the VCR. I know.
Yeah, we have
old reference, but it was like, how does this work? And so you're making sure
we have a video
you're getting
production
all of the
board.
signals in
Yeah,
the right place.
we have an audio
I'm so glad I don't
audio
really know
stack,
that much about
a video production board. We have multiple cameras happening at the same time, and all this has to look seamless. And
but apparently,
of course, that's how you do. So anyway,
Yeah.
the afternoon starts at 2 p.m. It's Cinco de Mayo. Our AV guy also is he's a musician. He's a well recognized musician in South Florida. He was playing Cinco de Mayo that night.
Does he play bass?
He plays bass and guitar.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we were trying to go see him.
So we were trying. Well, first we were trying to get we were trying to make sure he got done in time so that he wasn't.
And he did.
In a massive rush to get to his next gig.
And then so when we wrap up in the event space, and then we head back up to the suite. And we were working before we knew it was 7:30 on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Like, so
did we do anything? Where did we go?
The big holiday, the big celebration was at. Didn't we go to? Where
did we go? Did we go to the Marriott?
I think we went to Marriott.
Okay, so we went next door to the Marriott
because we had really early. We were going to start at 6 o'clock.
So it was like we weren't going to do pictures of margaritas.
So we're not going to go in full details, but we'll tell you some of the things that happened. That our guest attendees things were going flawless.
Meanwhile, we were probably growing gray hairs as they were happening, and maybe slightly stressed out.
So we had over the course of 4 days, we had two presenters swap out their presentations at the last minute. Now, the problem we had with this, it doesn't seem like a big deal. They had computers without removable drives.
So we couldn't. We couldn't just cop their presentation onto a USB drive and then stick it into.
And their presentations were too large to email.
Right.
And then their presentations.
So how did that end up happening? What'd you guys do?
I know so there's 5 of us working on this.
So I was like, okay, I'm entertaining, the people who are in front of me. Luckily, for the for the second conference, it was the first speaker. So it was sort of like, hey, we're starting in a few minutes. What? You're poking at me. All right, fine. No, it was all good.
Okay.
But I don't know how she got her presentation to you. I know how the other person. So somebody else used AirDrop, and that worked for that one, but so tell us.
We use an online storage service that was mutual to all of us. I mean, we between us we had Apple, Adobe, Dropbox, and Google Drive, and one of them worked for that. But it took about 5 minutes, and it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but. Let your TV screen go blank for 5 minutes.
We thought we were starting, and it was like, oh, wait, let me use, and I'm like, okay. I mean, honestly, it wasn't.
Nobody in the audience knew.
No. It was just like, we'll start in a few minutes, grab another cup of coffee.
We don't have time for 5 minutes.
Go to the latest room, we'll start in 5. So, yeah, I mean, I'm like, gosh, I hope these guys get it together fast, and it's all good. And it was amazing. The speaker was incredible. But yeah, in that moment, you're just kind of like.
The crazy part is, it's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. we start, and then all of a sudden it's Thursday at 3 o'clock, and we're done. We're packing up. What happened in 4 days? 5 days?
Yeah, literally. Well, and it's funny too because then people are. So we have a virtual component, as Gus was talking about, and. There were times where some of the folks who were planning to join us virtually either couldn't find their Zoom links or the Zoom links or the email that we sent to them with their Zoom link got caught in their spam folder, and they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to log on here,"
and they're hitting us up.
Meanwhile, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Meanwhile, I'm the sort of person host as the event starts, so I'm not looking at the Zoom feed. I'm not looking for messages. I'm not looking for any of that. And then, as on top of that, I'm on Zoom.
I mean, because the way we ran this event this time.
Yeah. I thought it went really well.
I didn't have my laptop or my iPad. We were using them for production. So I was out communicating for 4 days.
Right. So you were, yes. So there's a Monday, Tuesday conference, and there's a Thursday conference. Wednesday, this one just looked at me with the most blank look on his face. Like, I'm like, are you okay? And he like, eh, eh.
And this
like,
one,
oh man.
and this one pulls
What
a me
did I
on
do?
Wednesday morning, the
What did I
day one of
do?
the first conference. Hey, we're presenting this afternoon. I'm like,
Well, I didn't
what?
think you'd mind.
What are we presenting on?
I had
Great. Literally, I mean,
had put us in the agenda, and I was like, yeah, that'll be great. And then
I
you're just like, what?
I know the material inside and out. I created a presentation. I did a presentation.
You tell them it's a presentation
on networking. It's really important.
Very important, and it's
But it was even funny though.
Yeah,
I didn't even remember that. I didn't remember that I made that presentation.
okay.
But then when I showed, I was like,
so I was
the
like,
presentation was actually
just
pretty
here
good.
You go. And then so I grabbed it from the last time we presented it, which I think was like a year before, and then put it into and you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, this is a good presentation.
And it was a good presentation, and it really, I mean, the most
we were much better at it this time than we were.
The most important thing is to help people.
Absolutely,
people got a lot out of that session.
They did. So that was neat, but it was funny. I'm like, yeah, this is a great. And I mean, I looked at it first too. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I remember the content.
By Wednesday, I was really.
You were tired.
I was exhausted.
Yeah, I probably was too. But when at that point, I was on adrenaline. I was just like, I got, and there's a. I feel obligated, and I think it's important to keep my energy up when we're hosting a conference because.
And I'll be honest, I feel that way too, but I was past that.
I know. So I was Miss Cheerleader and making sure everybody was greeted, and we were having a good. But there were times where, I was
something I teach all the time. Something I talk about all the time is keeping hydrated. I was dehydrated. I was partially dehydrated.
Yeah, probably.
I was, running around. We just had two. I mean, these days we started at 6 a.m. and go till 10:30 at night, and in some way entertaining people or doing something.
There's really not much of a break. So interestingly, we ended early-esque on Tuesday, sorry. And I was just like, can we just go for a walk on the beach? Because we were on beautiful blue ocean. Like Monday, we couldn't go outside at all, barely. Tuesday, so by Tuesday afternoon, I'm like, look, I just need to go out and go for a walk. And we did. And I'm so glad we did. We did. I don't think we even talked. We were just like walking. And we did the same thing Thursday after the second conference. We went for a nice walk on the beach because it was just like, just yeah. So then, I mean, and then as I'm doing this, I realized that the number one, the biggest priority for us when we're on site is taking care of what's on site, taking care of our attendees who are in person, taking care of our attendees who are on Zoom, making sure that we're getting an integrated experience, making sure that that everything is going as best as it can.
And little things pop up.
Always.
We always have people that, and this is, and I'm not. It happens all the time, and I'm not. It's just another task. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this happens. We ask people to have dietary restrictions, and they don't never let us know in advance. And when they're on site, get dietary restrictions. Not a big deal. Totally, we have dietary restrictions in our family. And just like
the hotel,
just like, hey guys, so it just takes another step.
The hotel usually likes a heads up beforehand, so that's one of those things. But
and the other thing, so because I felt as though we were probably down one team member,
right,
for the logistics that this took to do. So then when we get down to do lunch, we get down to do lunch, and they're like waiting for somebody to tell them to do. So all of our guests are sitting there not eating yet.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I came downstairs.
Both days.
Well, and then she came to me and she said, "Do you want us to start serving?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, like 10 minutes ago."
Like, go, yes, now, do it. Like, why are you asking me?
Because the other thing that happens
lunch starts at whatever. I wasn't.
When these breaks happen, you got to remember, folks, our conferences are smaller than a lot of things. There's usually fewer than 100 people in the room, but we have text. We have our presenters using technology, and technology never goes perfect. I think it's a great technology story. I did a launch for one of the largest tech companies, if not the largest tech company in the world at the time. I did a launch for Microsoft. We did it at what is today the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. We did it theater style, which means they seat about 5,000.
That's all that'll be.
Microsoft brings in all their technology, all their stuff, all their big technology. They have a video wall. At the time, we're going back to the mid 2000s. They had a video wall.
Before they had video.
This is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The gentleman gets up and starts doing the announcing of the presentation of what we're going to talk about. And I'm like,
so did they blow the power?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, it's Microsoft. Like, nobody can ever. I never have a problem feeling bad for tech anymore.
Right.
That was
like
Microsoft.
You got the, yeah, exactly.
We've had a giant screen fall out of the ceiling on us.
Well, yes. We're lucky nobody was underneath it because that would have been very fun.
I did New Year's Eve for about 1,800 people one night, and the same thing happened at Microsoft. With the DJ, who was one of Red Bull's DJ teams, came in. He threw all his power on. We literally had sparks flying out of the box. And lost power at the building. We had to bring in on New Year's Eve. A generator. Yeah, crazy.
So I had my second conference ever. I was in Las Vegas, and it was a utility conference, and we were at Caesars, and this, somewhere in the middle of our presentation or somebody's presentation, they were building the Venetian at the time. Like, this is a while back, and all the power drew all of the power away from all of the other casinos, and we had a power outage, which is always extra funny when it's for a utility conference. But what was so weird was I had to wait a couple of seconds. It was daylight, but we were in a room that didn't have any windows, and I had
casinos.
Exactly. So I had to wait for like a couple of seconds to just see the light coming from underneath the door that I could. Everything was pitch
lights that come on
black. It was like, oh my God! It was like, okay, give me a second, I'll figure out what to do here, and then I waited opened the door so that we could see. But it was a little awkward, but funny. I'll never forget it.
Something always goes.
Something always goes just a little, and that's fine. Like, honestly, second day of our conference, we had the air show Thunderbirds were practicing. So we had the shades down so that the sun didn't glare in on us while we were doing our presentation. And I was actually like, I was doing an interview. I was interviewing our speaker, and we heard the rumbling and all of the sounds from the Thunderbirds. And we were half like, wow, let's see what's going on out there, and the other half like, I'm totally distracted. Like in the middle of an interview. So I had to explain it wasn't thunder that was outside, it was the Thunderbirds that was outside. And then we ended up staying which was cool.
Anyway,
so what I was going to say, like, sometimes I would say from a behind the scenes standpoint, you never know. Obviously, you do everything. We do so much as best as possible in advance, because frankly, when you're on site, it's harder to deal with if you don't have everything together. So, and there's always something I wish I had done in advance. But always.
There's only a thousand tasks that have to take place.
Right, exactly. But it's a little bit easier to do when you're not, when you don't have a spotlight on you to just get these things done and then say, yes, you're done. But we get into a groove. We're professionals. We're good at this. We've done this for a long time. Making sure everybody's presentations were there, ability. If there are a few things I could have done in advance to make that smoother for everyone. But they're there to have a good time. They're there to meet other people. I think what happens, and what my favorite part is, always the unexpected parts of the conference where we have a group of people who just belong together because they're so excited to meet people from other companies who do what they do, which is a lot of what our conferences are about. So they end up going out to dinner together, in a group, and they're sharing ideas. And I think my favorite was Thursday morning. So Wednesday night, a group from the second conference they'd never met before, and they got together and we all went out to dinner. And we even jumped in and said hi to them before we headed to the bar. But she came to me the next morning and said, the waiter said, "Oh, do you guys, you obviously have been friends forever, and is this when you get together once a year?" She was like, "No, we just met each other this morning." So
yeah, that's kind of cool.
It was like, oh, that's what this is about, right? It's about having those, like, forging those relationships. So
we met.
We did.
I'm not gonna say who. We met a celebrity. While we were there. If you check my Instagram, you'll see who it was. But we met a celebrity.
No, I'm hooked on a new TV show.
Yeah, we met, and it was just great. It was a great.
Total serendipitous moment. We were sitting at the bar. The person who was sitting with us, who came out with us, she's like, "Oh my God, that's."
I looked up on my phone because I'm familiar with the person, but I really wasn't familiar. I didn't watch the show. I looked, and I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
is that person? Let's go talk to her."
And we just said, "Let's go say hi." And our friend was just like, "What? Like, I can't."
We just can't go say hi.
I'm like, "Sure we can."
And the producer was there too, and now we can on Facebook or on Instagram. And they're very cool people.
So anyway, that was cool. But yeah, and then we finally had a little bit of downtime where we could relax. So actually, Friday morning we started working because when you're okay, so
4 days production work,
literally like 4 days production work. I was like, I've lost all momentum. I need to make some calls. We need to get some planning done here. So we did some of that on Friday morning, and then we kind of took the rest of the day and relaxed for the rest of the weekend. And we needed every bit of that, and it was great. But then,
we saw the air show, and if you look at there was an incident at the air show, and it was actually right above us.
Yeah, we didn't know that at the time.
I didn't know it at the time, but
we just heard the announcement, like, "Sorry, folks, we have to stop this for safety reasons."
Two of the planes touched.
They touched the wings. It's a little crazy. So we did that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of running conferences and running events and just managing all of the pieces of it, it
went well.
It went great.
We put on a good show.
We always put on a good show.
Anyway, people were super excited. Anyway.
We had a good time. It was nice to get some Florida sunshine.
And now behind the scenes after that event, I'm working all week, and we have team members. Because we've shot all this video, now we turn this video into courseware that people can purchase, and people who attended the conference get it for free.
Briefly explain the Zoom feed that we do, because we're putting all of this into it. We hit the record button, so all of the sessions that we did for the whole 2 conferences, 2 days each, were recorded. So now Gus has to download all the video, send it to our editor, and get that ready to go on our learning management system so that people can go back in and watch the videos, or people can purchase the conference videos after the fact and get continuing education credits, or, oh, we have a new person on our team, we need to get them, they need to learn this stuff, so they can watch that. Yes. And then it's follow-up email. Did everybody have fun? Here's the information I promised I would send you. And there's probably 2 or 3.
And we make our own connections there, and we have to move those connections forward.
Absolutely. So. Like, there were some discussions about some future plans of ways that we're going to host events. So I'm already like, if I don't do this right now, I'll forget, because you know how it is. You go to a conference, you come back, and you're like, oops. Yep, forgot all about that. So I'm on it.
All right, we're going to let you good people go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions, drop them below, and we'll get to them on the next show.
Peace.